So you're in MGTOW, you are exploring what MGTOW is about. You've probably left some bad relationships. You may not have gotten any play at all, especially if you're a young man, starting out in life. Um, Here's another thing or aspect or dimension of life you need to consider. You should consider it just closing your mouth, shutting the hell up. And there are many there's this saying or this thing that I teach a lot of my, at least the kids that's in my care, who I take care of professionally. um, I say you're talking too much. You want to If you want to grow and develop yourself, be quiet and listen to silence. Go ahead, try it. Close your mouth and listen to silence. And then I say, what do you hear? And they'll say, well, I don't hear anything. And then I'll respond, you're not listening well enough. If you listen well enough, you will hear silence. And I know it's an enigma, but the importance of silence is that you're allowed to, it allows you to focus, and it allows you to focus internally. And although from a spiritual perspective, if you look at, those of you who are familiar with Buddhism, maybe Hinduism, some of the Jainism, some of the Eastern religious philosophies, a lot of the yogic science is heavily based on being silent. You have to be silent and be still to meditate. And a lot of Western sciences are proving that the Eastern philosophies are true, and we are even using in therapeutic foster care. We are using a lot of the techniques, the meditative techniques, for self-care. So it's catching on in the at least in the psychological sciences. It's being applied. When we do meetings or we do retreats, a lot for foster care providers, a lot of times, just one, actually all the time, there's a session for meditation. Even when you do massages, you're getting that massage, you're focusing your mind, you're stilling your mind, you're quiet. And it has a lot of healing properties. That's the spiritual side of things, which is what I prefer to talk about. However, this is MGTOW. You're in MGTOW, you've gone your own way, but you still have to grow, and in a way where you can still have a healthy, long-term, successful relationship. Obviously, things don't always go as planned. People grow apart, whatever. All right. But if things fail because you've been educated and you've adopted some or if not all the MGTOW philosophies, you will, if things go wrong, you will be okay. Matter of fact, you'll be better off then than you are now, because you have a lot to learn and grow, and a lot of ideas to process and adopt if it's practical for you, right? So be quiet. Now, in relationships, for instance, say you're going out on dates or you see some woman that you're interested in, you introduce yourself, you say hello, you got that first date, and you don't need to divulge any information. She doesn't need to know the kind of money you make. She doesn't really need to know anything about or the material things, all the material things you have. Those are things that can come up later on, like say you get more involved in a long-term committed relationship, you become exclusive, you may even be engaged or getting married. Then that's when some of those things kind of come up. And even then, you still have to keep some things separate. That's individual only to you. For instance, non-marital assets. She doesn't need to know anything about those things. Like I mentioned before, if you live in Maryland, you own property before it's paid outright in Maryland. She can't touch none of them, none of that, because it's not part of marital assets. They were yours before you got married. So she don't really need to know about that stuff, you know. So keep some things to yourself. Um, Besides, if you are talking so much about keep your business to yourself, keep your friend's business to yourself. You're talking to this woman, you know, and you're gossiping, and you're running your mouth. Even if you finish your first date and you're all hanging out and you're talking about different things in life, and you know you're talking some, you know, topic about your friends come up. It's completely unnecessary to really be putting your friend's business out there that they've confided in you, because now she might think, you know, man, even though women do talk a lot and they have that gossip thing, you know, it's really it's a feminine approach to communication, and you basically will be exuding a lot of feminine energy, but by telling other people's business, especially when you're not married to this girl, you're just in the beginning stages of a relationship. Even when if you have a long-term friendship, your homeboy's lifestyle or whatever's going on in his life don't need has nothing to do with her. She shouldn't need to know about those things, just for you to, I guess, make yourself feel good, look good to her. She's not trying to date. She's not dating or seeing your friend. Even if you introduce them and you're telling his business, I mean, damn, that's just so wrong. Men do not run their mouth. We don't talk like that. We say what we're gonna do. We find a way to complete what we're gonna do, and we do it. If we fail, we try a different way to get the results, or we analyze the information, what the goal was, and if it's not really worth pursuing because things have changed, we move on. Just like how you've taken the step of moving on with MGTOW. It's the moving on should not be about running away and hiding. It's moving on so you can get that breather, that silence to build yourself and grow yourself. But you, as a young man, need to also practice being silent, either in meditative state, like by doing woodworking, carpentry, fishing, whatever it is, just silence. Pick a hobby, boxing, weightlifting, whatever it is. Focus your mind, stay silent, meditation, whatever. When you going out on dates, same thing. You don't need to give information about everybody in your life. You don't need to tell a woman about everything you have. You know, they don't really need to know that, because what have they done to deserve such, you know, such access to your life? Nothing. What have you done, you know, that merits you running your mouth about, you know, all these other things just to make yourself feel good? This is one of the problems with ego. The Eastern philosophies with like science, like silence. You got to put your ego in check. What are you without your material things, the cars, the boats, the, you know, everything that you're using, the watches, you know, to impress these women? Who are you as an individual? Strip away all that stuff, the houses, everything else. Who are you? You want a woman to love you or appreciate you or value you because of the things you have? That's fleeting, that changes with time as far as value goes in some cases. Or do you want this woman to appreciate you for who you are, and the things that you have is just the things that you have? I'm not saying there are not a lot of women out there that are attracted to men that have a lot of materialistic things, but when you start putting it out there in the first, second, third date, or even when it's not that serious of a relationship, you're basically putting out a facade. Real men don't put out a facade. They are who they are. You are who you are, and as you grow and develop into better versions of yourself, this is one of those things that you should consider doing, is being silent. Don't talk as much. If you have any questions, ask it in the comments section down below. Like, subscribe, share the video, hit the notification bell. And you all have a good night.